After a couple of days of somewhat wet weather conditions, it is gorgeous today here in Watkins, Glen as the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series gets set for qualifying to set the starting order for tomorrow's race. Jamie McMurray walking toward his car. The Sprint Cup Series was on the track this morning at 8 a.m. for their final practice session before tomorrow's race. In that practice, the top 15 drivers broke the Watkins Glen track qualifying record. Top 15, that is. Question is, with temperatures being a little different now than they were at 8 a.m. this morning, will we see a track record in qualifying in the next 90 minutes?
I think we will see a track record. I'm not sure we'll see 15 cars break the old record, but I think we will see some cars break the old mark.
Yeah, because it was by a half second that they beat that track record. So that's quite a bit here. So even though the track temp has gone up somewhat, I think these drivers are good enough, the tires are good enough that we will see that record go down.
Well, we will find out as 43 drivers get set to go on the clock. One lap essentially on a road course. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that guy taps your fender and says, okay, go out there and give me a lap and see where you line up. That's a pretty big responsibility for a driver to hit it right.
Yeah, for those that may have watched the nationwide qualifying just a little while ago, they did the European style where you put 5 or 6 cars out at a time. You've got 5 minutes to get it done. So a lot less pressure in that situation, where here you know that you've got to go hit these 7 corners and the inner loop perfect if you're going to have a good shot.
So 43 cars are entered here at Watkins Glen, so just the 43 will make time. That is the car of Patrick Long getting lined up out at the inner loop where they're going to be released to begin their qualifying run.
Did he stop and pick up Vince out there in the inner loop?
I don't see any passengers on the right side of that car.
I don't see Vince either, though.
Yeah, he's on his way back. Patrick Long looking to make his NASCAR Sprint Cup Series debut. Had some difficulties in practice here yesterday. Lost an engine in this car that resulted in a couple of other drivers getting swept up in the mess and having to go to backup cars for this race. That's a backup car. Long is in. The other 2 that were involved after the 30 car lost the engine going up the hill in the S's. Denny Hamlin and Jeff Burton.
That's a bad place to lose an engine. You see those guardrails on both sides. Really nowhere for anybody to go when there's oil on the track.
Yeah, they could have found a worse possible spot for things to happen. It just tightens up so much. There's not a lot of grip there to start with. You can see Denny Hamlin and Jeff Burton both getting in that.
They hit the oil, they hit the guardrail, and then Burton hit Hamlin. And the result is 3 backup cars are going to be out for today's qualifying session. I guess the good news is that happened yesterday, and the teams get a chance to run these backup cars in that practice session this morning. For Patrick Long, this is not a car that is designed or built for road course racing. This is a car that this team is planning on using next week at Michigan. So they will be in conservative mode with both this qualifying lap and their efforts in the race tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd say one of the 2 places it's not going to drive the best. I don't know.
Might be good in the left-hander.
If you're new to NASCAR, teams make cars specifically for a lot of the right-hand turns they run on road courses versus the normal diet of all left-hand turns within parameters set by NASCAR.
Excuse me, Dale. NASCAR does set up a lot of rules for these cars, so they can't do as many things they'd like to do for a track like this, but this is all predominantly right-hand turns, so you really want a car that's biased in that direction, like I said, as much as NASCAR left.
Yeah, the few times that you turn left aren't as higher speed places as what you have with the right-handers, so if you can get that and make it work on the right-handers, you're going to be much better off. This is one of the high-speed left-hander that you'll go through. That's what we're going to refer to as turn 6. This is turn 7. Coming back to the start-finish line, you can see that fresh patch of asphalt put down here. It's giving the drivers a little bit of concerns as they go through that, a little bit of a braking area.
So first lap for Patrick Long, 117.5 miles an hour. Track record's 126.4. I said they'd be in conservative mode, and so the car in one piece and coming back around. Talk about a lot of places to gain time and a lot of places to make mistakes in this Watkins Glen course. 2.45 miles around.
Yeah, down into turn 1. We already talked about high-speed area, braking, downshifting, a lot of action during the race, but this is an area that you really have to carry a lot of speed to get this qualifying lap off to a good start.
If you can survive turn 1 and get through this part, the next section of the racetrack is a very important section for speed because you go up through the S's and it's an uphill climb. You've got to have a great engine, and that leads you into this bus stop area, which is also a very tricky set of corners.
Yeah, and as you're trying to make speed there on a qualifying effort, we're going to see a lot of action in the race there, but you really want to carry a lot of speed in and through the center of that and be able to really hammer the throttle as you come out of that corner. You can see all of this is paved now, runoff area.
And then you have that carousel, a sweeping right-hand turn downhill, almost looks a little bit off camber. That takes you down a straightaway, pretty good fast straightaway into this left-hander turn 6, which is also a pretty tricky corner.
Yeah, you almost just have to manhandle the car through here because you can't get it set up both left and right all the time. So it is high speed, downshifting, a little bit of braking through there, but you want to carry a lot of speed, opportunity to make a pass in the race.
And then getting off turn 7 is very critical too because you got to go halfway down the main straightaway before you get to the start-finish line.
So a look at what is always a very interesting lap around Watkins Glen. And Chris Cook on the clocks in the 19 car, the 40-year-old from San Diego. Road racing instructor by trade. And we see him every now and then on the road courses in the NASCAR Nationwide Series and NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
It's helped a lot of drivers and teams out here in the Sprint Cup area, to these drivers in particular, just on the techniques of driving on a road course because it is so totally different than what they normally do.
What are some of the things that you've trained with some of these guys? What are some of the things that they teach you that's different?
Yeah, a lot of it is braking, what you're looking for in your car, and then approaching corners and the way that you look at them. And I think that was the biggest thing when I worked some with Chris, that he helped me to visualize a little bit better what I needed to be doing as I set a corner up and really anticipating the next corner.
There is the car whose number is atop the scoreboard here at Watkins Glen for the moment. Number 1, Jamie McMurray just put the fast lap on the board. Wrestling that car around a couple of spots on this racetrack. McMurray bumping Bobby Labonte out of the top spot, Vince.
Bobby Labonte's had a couple of good runs over the years here at Watkins Glen, and how was it this time through qualifying?
Well, this is a brand new car, and these guys worked really hard at it. We didn't go anywhere to practice it, so we unloaded here, and it was different than what we've had in the past. We had to make a lot of changes on it. They did really good every time we went out today as well. So it just we still a little bit a day behind on trying to find some things for some rear grip for qualifying because we missed on rear grip for qualifying. It's probably not going to be the best qualifying effort. Obviously, we thought we'd pick up a little bit. We really didn't. It just got too loose. But just trying to figure this car out a little bit. But we'll get to race tomorrow and see what we got.
Thanks, Bobby. Alan?
Bobby second behind Jamie McMurray. Jeff Burton in that backup car. After the incident yesterday we showed you earlier, on track now.
And you can see he's over 8/10 off what Jamie McMurray put down. But that lap that Jamie McMurray put down is just over a quarter of a second off of the track record. So we're going to see just what people have now with that lap that Jamie put down.
And he was only 29th fastest in the practice this morning when a lot of cars did hot qualifying runs.
That's going to be good for third for the moment for Jeff Burton. And Burton at 71 flat total seconds. Track record 69.7.
Always liked it better to them tell me my time in seconds. That sounded 71 seconds sounded a lot better than a minute and 11 seconds. Just we add a minute there, it sounds like it took me forever to get her out.
Jamie McMurray atop the board.
How was that? Hello. Good to see you. How was it?
It was okay. I haven't had the speed that they really need this weekend, and Juan was really good right before practice was over. So we actually put a lot of their stuff in, and we tightened the car up a lot, but it seemed freer or looser there. The bottom of the S's was really wild for me. Sometimes it doesn't look wild on TV, but in the car it was a handful. And really that's all the fast track I go. Our McDonald's Chevy is okay. I don't think that'd be a great lap, but it's going to be an okay lap.
Yeah, we see some of that handful on TV, don't we, guys?
Yeah, we did. And indeed, when I talked about it being wild at a couple spots on the racetrack, that's one of them we saw while we were in the break that Jamie McMurray had a great deal of difficulty with. Here is Dale Jr. We heard from him. Now let's see.
He was one of those that was faster than the track record this morning in practice. This is a little bit different.
One thing I saw right there, though, is he was 3/10 behind the pole sitter, McMurray, by the time he got to turn 1. That's a lot of time to give up right at the beginning of the lap. He's gained a lot of it back already by the top of the hill, though.
Just gave some back there.
Like we said, there's so many opportunities to gain and lose time on this track.
And when you're out there just for the one lap, it's got to be hard to talk yourself up to that ledge, that edge of control. You know, when you're under braking like that at the interloop where we saw Junior lose some of that ground, it's got to be hard to talk yourself up to just taking it down there as far or farther than you have in practice.
Yeah, because you know, just that little bit. I mean, we're only talking a couple of feet too far into these corners. Then you get it to wheel hopping. Then you either spin or you just have to slow down so much that you lose a lot of time.
Second fastest. Back live, Watkins Glen International NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying, setting the starting grid for tomorrow's event here that you'll see on ESPN starting at noon Eastern time. Casey Mears rolling back to the garage. 10th fastest out of 23 at this point. And on track is Paul Menard on the green flag and on his flying lap. Let's check in with Vince.
Well, Denny Hamlin, if it wasn't for bad luck, this guy had no luck at all here at Watkins Glen the last couple of years. Then in practice, had to go to a backup. What kind of car is the backup car?
Well, it's one of our older chassis that we developed last year sometime, and so obviously that hurts us a little bit. But you know, really kind of disappointed in that qualifying effort. You know, we ran almost that fast in race trim this morning, so definitely not happy with that. But we'll try to make something of our day. We've been good here these last couple of years and gotten taken out or something like that's happened. So hopefully we'll have if we don't have the best car, we'll have good fortune.
Yeah, make something out of it tomorrow. That's Denny Hamlin. Let's go to the Jerry Punch, Doc.
Juan Pablo Montoya has been lucky and good this past couple of weeks. Pole last weekend at Pocono. How about 2 in a row here?
I think it'd be big. You know, we got a pretty good car. I think it was decent pace in race trim. We really focused on making sure it's consistent more than fast. And, you know, we had an oil leak, so we lost a bit of time there. We put in qualifying trim, did 1 lap, and it was really good. We repeat doing practice, and we'll see. You know, we'll see with the sun what happens.
Good luck in qualifying.
Thank you.
Second quickest in practice. They may not qualify on the front row, but they believe they will be a factor on Sunday.
Doc, thanks. Paul Menard finishing up 5th fastest.
Yeah, he slowed up about 3/10 from this morning's practice. One thing that might be happening here is they're starting them like Dale said up at the top of the interloop and not having that warm-up lap on the tires. Could be one of the reasons they're not running as fast as they did in this morning practice. That along with some warmer track temps.
Interesting to see. Beginning of the session. Looked everybody was picking up time from where they practiced. Now, not so much. Mentioned Clint Boyer as our ESPN in-race reporter when we talked with him a few minutes ago. There's the information if you'd like to suggest a question for DJ to ask Kansas Clint.
Race winner at Sonoma.
I know you're always open to suggestions.
I always open to suggestions, yes. And Clint's always fun, entertaining to talk with, so we'll have a good time with that.
Clint mentioned a thing called Dartfish when he was talking about how he compared himself to other people. Dartfish is a video system that allows you to overlay your car's run around the racetrack against somebody else's. So you can compare your car to the one that's fastest in practice, and a driver can literally look, a driver and team, and see where you're gaining and losing time.
Yeah, it is a tool that they use. It's a ghost car, the fastest car that they're using as a target, say for a certain practice session. They can use that as a ghost car, and you put yours over it, and you can see just exactly where you're gaining and losing time.
It's like he might be the target car here.
He might be after this run.
Is that like me trying to compare my golf swing to Tiger Woods?
Yeah. It's very comparable, right?
The swings are what you'd use to compare them. No, the swings are nowhere close.
Tiger pretty good in the first 2 rounds of the PGA Championship.
It's been. Boyer's got a chance here.
New leader, Clint Boyer. top of the board. Here, talking about temperatures and where it's at, if that might be what's cost some of the speed.
Well, you can see that track temp coming way up. Yeah, that's quite a difference. That's plenty to make
2-3 tenths, maybe even a half second difference, as we've been seeing from a lot.
New York native Regan Smith from Cato, New York, up toward the Syracuse area. On the track now. While we watch his lap, let's check in with Vince.
Well, before his run, Clint Boyer told Jerry Punch, just can't quite seem to get comfortable here. You had a chuckle on the radio after the run. What was it that you didn't care for so much, even though you got the top time?
Well, the bus stop back there's just been giving me a tough time. It seems like there in the carousel I struggle. I'm decent up through the S's and on the other part of the racetrack, but just never can get comfortable and carry speed. I knew that I needed to carry more speed getting in. I tried to and blew through the corner and kind of messed up again. So hopefully that'll hold up somewhere. I'd say the top 12 from practice speeds. Lost a little bit of grip there with the weather warming up and things, but that's a pretty good day for the 5 Energy Toyota with me in it.
Well done. That's Clint Boyer. Doc?
And his teammate Ryan Truex doesn't get a lot of props for being a good road racer, but he is. I mean, you qualified 5th at Sonoma, led 11 laps, finished 4th here last year. Do you have something for your teammate for that pole?
Well, I think you have me mistaken for somebody else. You called me Ryan.
I'm sorry, Martin. Well, you just got younger, okay? We're just talking about your brother. Okay, Martin Jr.
No, we've had a good weekend so far with our Napa Toyota, and car's running good. We were fast this morning. We were quick yesterday, and here it's all about putting one lap together. You only got one shot at it, so one mistake is a big problem, and track's heating up. Things are going to be slick. Things will be different than this morning, but we'll see what we can lay down. The car's been fast, and hopefully it'll stick.
I do think Ryan can win the pole, though. I really do.
Well, you might be right, but as long as I do better than 13th, I guess I'm doing all right today.
All right, Martin Truex Jr. Alan?
Got a bunch of Truexes, a bunch of Blaneys, a bunch of Ryans. Not the first one to get him confused. Martin's family with a long history of racing here at Watkins Glen. The old NASCAR Busch North Series used to run here. His dad, Martin Sr., raced here successfully. Martin Jr. successfully. And in the Nationwide Series race, that 13th reference, by the way, Ryan Truex, younger brother of Martin, will start 13th.
Yeah, good solid effort for him his first time here.
Casey Kane.
Has 2 poles so far this year, Vegas and Martinsville.
You were talking earlier about wanting your car to slide around a little bit, but wanting to be able to know how much and catch it. I'm almost watching some of these guys going up through those S's, like Kane there, looking like he was expecting the car to slide a little more than it did,
Yeah, and sometimes you don't get that, so you've actually probably given it a little too much wheel, or you scrubbed off a little bit of speed somewhere up through there that didn't allow the car to slide as much as you were anticipating.
Still got a shot.
Drove it in deep for that left-hander. This is actually too deep.
Yeah, paid the price on the exit.
All right, that'll be 7th for Casey.
Kyle Busch standing outside his car, getting ready to go up, and the fastest car in final practice session, Kyle. So everyone's saying you're the man to beat in qualifying, are you?
I think so. I hope so anyways. I think our car was really good. Both race trim and qualifying trim there. So M&M's Camry's fast. Guys did a good job. And we'll just come out here and see what it'll run here in qualifying. See if we can't get up near the front somewhere and have a good starting spot for tomorrow.
Based on last week, how important is a good run this week for you and this team?
It's not all that important. The wins are. That's it. Got to win.
Got to win. Sums it up perfectly. Guys?
There you go.
Yeah, when you talk about good run, good run won't do it for him. He needs another win in the win column.
Yeah, it's got to be excellent. You have to have a perfect day here somewhere in these last 5 races, or these next 5 races.
See Kevin Harvick tracking 7th, 8th or so as he comes to the checkered flag. In that Kyle Busch situation, the difficulties at Pocono last weekend when they had the brake problem that cut down the left rear tire and they had to go to the garage and make repairs, dropped him so far back that the hopes of catching the top 10 in points and just earning your way into the chase that way are pretty much gone. So that's why Kyle knows you've just got to win.
A little debris over there in the inner loop. Try to see where it came from. I don't know if it was there and Harvick hit it or whether it came off of his car.
That's a good question. I couldn't tell. Kevin Harvick, 8th fastest as he rolls back in, and Jimmy Johnson's getting ready to go, Doc.
Getting ready to qualify, but we were just chatting a little bit about last week. How many times have you gone back and looked at the video and then restart and just thought about, what if I hadn't had a tire issue?
I haven't looked at it once, actually.
Really?
No, I haven't looked at it. Definitely feel bad that we left some bonus points on the table there, and certainly hate to have a couple cars crash in that deal. But it's racing. I knew I had something off, or I thought I had something off, but I was trying to clean my tires, and as I was cleaning them coming to the green, it got better and better. And then I saw pit road, and I'm like, man, I know rain's coming. Hopefully it's just dirt, trash on the tires, and ended up being more than that. But we've had some fast race cars, and I'm really excited about the ovals that are left on the schedule, and then the car we've had here. Not only does it have a cool silver paint job on it, it's been really fast too, and I hope to get a win here at this racetrack this weekend.
Good luck today.
You got it. Thank you.
5-time himself, Jimmy Johnson, guys.
And the man he was racing for the lead and the win in that Pocono race last Sunday, on the track now, Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, Matt was definitely a victim in that particular incident, and that was so uncharacteristic of Jimmy to make a mistake like that and take somebody else out with him, that it makes sense that he had a flat tire to me.
Matt Kenseth, one of those guys who tells you he's not a natural road racer, and has qualified 13th fastest out of 31 right now, driving for Jack Roush. Second in the championship. That last corner, turning around what was going to be his reclaiming the championship lead after Dale Earnhardt Jr. had his transmission problems earlier in the race, and then Matt wound up with his difficulties and didn't get the finish he was hoping for. Wound up 23rd instead of racing for the win and maybe getting the win.
Yeah, just because these last couple of weeks of finishes at Indy and Pocono, don't count this driver and team out for battling for the championship. They'll still be a big part of that picture.
Numbers, performance-wise, very, very much like his championship season of 2003 when you look at top 10 finishes and wins and laps led and things like that for Matt Kenseth. Well, Juan Pablo Montoya won this race 2 years ago from third starting spot. He's on the clocks.
You hear the tires squealing, getting into turn one.
Had that right front locked up a little bit, it looked like.
Yeah, he did, but he had a lot of speed.
Team had to change a radiator this morning. That was what was leaking from this car, according to Chris Heroy, the crew chief, when I stopped by there while they were in the midst of the thrash.
Wow, he make that look really good right there. Like there's nothing to it. Look at this lap. We're talking about a track record here.
Yep.
Got 2 more corners to negotiate. He's going to set a time for these other guys to go after now.
Another good solid corner there.
Well, say hello to your new pole sitter and a new track record holder here at Watkins Glen, Juan Pablo Montoya. 1 minute, 9.438 seconds. Breaks the old track record by 0.3 of a second.
69.43, up a half second, second place. Great job, Juan.
Couple of wins, one here at Watkins Glen, one on the other road course out at Sonoma that the Sprint Cup Series races on. The pole at Pocono last week. And certainly a good starting spot for this race. We'll see how it shakes out here as these final 11 cars run. Because remember, even though Montoya just set a track record number, Doc, Marcos Ambrose has yet to run.
Absolutely, and Marcos Ambrose is very, very good here, as evidenced by the fact that he celebrated in Victory Lane a year ago. Marcos, good in practice, but you told me you're worried a little bit. Why?
Oh, I didn't say I was worried, just a little anxious. It's a lot harder than what we practiced this morning, and we made some adjustments for this heat, but I just hope it's enough. We've got a great race car. I've got to thank Stanley and Ford and the whole Richard Petty Motorsports team for giving me the chance here. And I don't think I've had a car that's felt this good in race trim. We just got to get through this qualifying lap.
Hey, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Marcos Ambrose, he was watching on the big boards as Montoya ran his pole-winning lap thus far.
And we talked about at the beginning of our qualifying coverage how important a good starting spot is to have a shot at winning this race.
That's one guy, though, Ambrose. You saw his average starting position 15th, but his average finishing position is 2nd. He's a guy that can pass cars.
Martin Truex Jr. tracking 7th for the moment. Team that started off the season hot, probably had a win, maybe 2, get away from them. Went through a little bit of a slump, but in the last few weeks has kind of shown a resurgence again.
Yeah, and for his points position, had a great finish of 3rd last week at Pocono. That really helped this race team, and has some kind of solidly inside that top 10, even without a victory so far.
Good lap. 3rd fastest. Just win. That's what Kyle Busch told us a little while back, that these next 5 races are all about for Kyle. He has done that here at Watkins Glen back in 2008. Started on pole that day.
Had a shot at it last year on the last restart. Didn't quite work out that way.
Right there, that spot on the racetrack on a restart for a green light checker finish went wrong. And he went from 1st to 3rd.
It's going to be fun these next few races to watch Kyle Busch, though, with that mental mindset of I've got to win, got to win. There's nobody can get it done any better than Kyle in that situation, so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I had a little moment right there. When I think of it, obviously he has a great chance here of winning tomorrow. Got a great lap going right here. But you think about Bristol, how dominant he's been there, and then going to Richmond for that final race before the cutoff for the chase. So many opportunities for this young man to win and get himself in the chase. Got a chance at the pole here.
Awfully close. Lost a little bit of time coming off turn 5.
Yeah, that was where Montoya was really strong, coming off of turn 5 down that straightaway.
Might not be the top spot, but it's going to be awfully close to the front.
It's a good one.
2nd fastest for Kyle Busch. That is under the old track record time. And puts him number 2 on the board to Juan Pablo Montoya. Clint Boyer's 3rd, and Vince Martin Truex Jr. is 4th.
Yeah, Martin had some high expectations coming into this qualifying run. A little dissatisfied with the time that you posted. Where did you leave it?
Well, it just wasn't a very clean lap. You know, it's tough when you only get one. You know, we practiced all morning and you get in that rhythm, and then you got to sit for a while and get back in there. And I just screwed it up. I mean, it's plain and simple. It was the car was good. The guys have done a great job, and we're going to have an awesome race car for tomorrow. Just disappointing. I mean, I left a bunch out there, so a little disappointed in myself, but we'll go get them tomorrow. This is a place that I've generally done the same thing every year: practice good, qualify like crap, and race good. So try to do it again.
We'll see you tomorrow. Martin Truex. Doc?
How about Tony Stewart, the reigning champ, getting buckled in here, a 5-time winner at Watkins Glen. No one's won as much as he has here in a Cup car. Tony, how about today and tomorrow?
I'm excited about it. I mean, see what we got with our off-steeple Mobile 1 Chevy, and just see if what we did this morning, see if we can back it up.
Big win last night. Going racing again tonight?
Yeah, actually going to ran Black Rock Speedway last night and won a URC race there, and go to Canandaigua Speedway tonight. So get to run 2 nights in a row, even even though I want to be out in Knoxville, Iowa with Steve Kinzer and Donnie Schatz tonight at the Knoxville Nationals, I at least get to do something tonight and race myself.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Tony Stewart, how about staying busy on the racetrack, guys?
Jimmy Johnson was just really busy coming up through the S's, had all of us holding our breath.
Still able to gain time, actually, from what he had gotten. See, drove it in hard in through the inner loop.
Well, he's still spinning the tires coming out of the inner loop, though.
Oh, it's really loose right there.
It's basically a control slide all the way through there.
That's why he's a 5-time champ.
Might not be right at the front, but he'll be in that track position range.
Very solid lap, though.
Yes. And still with, in theory, 7 very fast cars to go.
He came within 2 thousandths of beating Kyle Busch right there.
Jimmy Johnson, 3rd fastest.
You can just tell this team kind of hitting their stride as they've gotten things really worked out, and they know what time is getting. It's time to put everything together and be ready for the chase.
One of 5 active tracks that Jimmy Johnson has never won on. But he would like to change that tomorrow. Of course, every time you come to Watkins Glen, one of the most incredible pieces of racing footage ever seen. Jimmy Johnson. And he knows you're going to see it when you come to Watkins Glen, because it's still hard to look at it and believe.
Pretty spectacular crash.
Yeah. 7 cars left to go. Marcos Ambrose is next. Kyle Busch second at the moment, Vince.
He said he expected it to be good, and it was, but I get a sense maybe he didn't quite get everything out there. Where'd you leave it?
Just slipped a little too much in a couple corners. It wasn't as smooth as I wanted to be. Felt good. I was like, it's decent, but just, you can't spin the tires too much and be fast. So I think a little too much wheel spin. But overall, happy with it. I think that should be pretty good for us. We'll see how it stacks up for time of day and heat and everything like that. It's a fast lap.
It'll be fun to watch the 18 tomorrow. Alan?
Vince, thanks. Fun to watch Marcos Ambrose here. That line is not tracking in the direction he was hoping, though.
He lost a lot of time from turn 1 up to the S's. Almost 3/10 he lost to Montoya.
Yeah, you could tell in the interview that he was a little concerned about the grip of his race that his car may have. And I think that's something that he fought out in Sonoma once they got into the race. And even though he sat on the pole, struggled a little bit in the race.
Yeah, short run versus long run speed was definitely an issue for them out in Sonoma. That'll be 4th for Ambrose, the defending winner of this race, who's run in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series here at the Glen 4 times. Never finished worse than 3rd.
Yeah, he does a better job of passing on this course than anybody that I've ever seen here.
Yeah, he's going to start in the top 10 with that run right there, and his average is 15th starting spot. But like we said, that 2nd place average finish, so he's going to pass a lot of cars.
3-2, 3-1 in 4 tries for Ambrose. And that figures to be one of his principal rivals tomorrow, Juan Pablo Montoya. On the pole with 6 cars to go. Can it be 2 pole positions in a row for Montoya, who has the number 1 starting spot, or had the number 1 starting spot for the Pocono race last Sunday?
Now here's the other fast forward that's left to go. Carl was 3rd quickest this morning in practice. He's got some shade on the track right now, too. This could be really playing into his favor.
A little bit of cloud cover here and there. Carl involved starting in the NASCAR Nationwide Series race later on today. Not later on, coming up in about 45 minutes.
Whoa, man, he is out of shape right there. It's a real fast part of the track and a dangerous part of the track.
He was able to stay in the throttle, but you can see it is costing him a little bit of time.
Tracking down 19th now.
With those guardrails on both sides through the S's, there's just no room for error. No room to catch the car when it's out of shape, especially at those speeds.
This one's out of shape quite a bit, too. You can see Carl really fighting the wheel.
He's one of the early runners in the NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying session, so the track conditions have changed quite a bit since he was on the Speedway. And another one of those guys in that just win mode.
Not going to be very happy with what they were able to get out of this car here.
14th. And that is not awful, but not good track position for the start of the race. Kurt Busch is going to be the last guy to run, Doc.
Just climbing in the car and helping push the car up. I told you it's a very small team when the driver even helps push it up. Hey, Kurt, you guys had a big surprise for a lot of them at Sonoma. How about today?
We'll give it our best shot. If I can't do it, then we'll have to go to Houston. It's same car, same attitude of we want to try to do the best we can, and yep, you can't overdrive a qualifying lap. We got to worry about what we can do to post a good 90 laps on Sunday.
Kurt Busch, a pole or maybe a win for James Finch Racing would be huge for this small team.
Here's Jeff Gordon. From the looks of the tracking graph, did not get a good run up through the S's and off onto that back straightaway.
This is the most shape we've seen on the track in a while. I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't gained a little bit of grip. Looks like it's losing grip.
And up to those S's we talked about, that's where you can really make time. Well, if you're not going well there and you're not using all the power, you can certainly lose tenths of a second in a hurry.
One of the things Jeff talked about here this weekend is that they've got to qualify better to have a shot at more wins and have a shot at maybe competing for a championship. And we'll see where this shakes out after the rest of the cars run, but that's going to be 9th for Gordon for now. 4 cars to go. Here is smoke.
Talk about the importance of getting up through the S's. For a lot of years, there was nobody that was as good as Tony Stewart from this point up to the inner loop. See what his car's got for him today.
.182 miles an hour in the braking for the inner loop. Tony Stewart, a 5-time winner here at Watkins Glen, has won it from 3rd, 4th, 1st, 5th, and 13th starting spots.
Looks like his strong point today, though, has been from the inner loop out, around the carousel, and down to that left-hander. Looks like he's holding station pretty well. Loses a little there. First to gain it back, and then loses it again.
Up to 5th for Tony. Minute 9:91. Montoya, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Marcos Ambrose, Tony Stewart. Your top 5. Clint Boyer sitting in 6th position. There's the order coming across the top of the screen now. And we are down to 3 cars to go. What a boost it would be for Montoya and company to have pole position for this race.
I know they have the opportunity. I think last week in winning the pole at Pocono, they probably thought because of the struggles they've been through on the ovals this year that they might get a solid effort. And they were okay during the race, but I think starting up front, possibly on the pole here, they look at this a whole lot different as an opportunity for them to go back to victory lane.
You've got a driver like Juan Pablo Montoya. You know Sonoma and Watkins Glen, not just opportunities, they're great opportunities.
Now, you're talking about with Montoya, a world-class road racer.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word.
Brad Keselowski coming to the green. Shown himself to become quite a good road racer. Finished 2nd in this race a year ago.
He emerged last year, surprised a lot of people, including myself, at how well he did here. And just thought it was going to be one of those where you just weekends you want to get through, but he ran so well and came so close to winning.
Saw him smoking the tires a little bit, but locking up the brakes a little bit down into one. We saw Montoya do that. But it's amazing. These good road racers, and not saying Brad's not, but like Montoya, they're able to do that and continue to carry their speed down there. And you can see that Brad lost about 2.5 tenths in doing that.
You see the Charger and the Dodge branding on the nose of that car. The headlines on Tuesday of this week that the Dodge brand would withdraw from competition in NASCAR at the end of this season. Earlier, Penske Racing announcing that they would be switching to the Ford brand for next year, and Dodge basically saying that they couldn't find a top-level team to partner up with for next year, and they weren't going to not have a chance to win and run up front every week.
I'll tell you, Brad was doing some driving through that last corner.
Boy, he sure did. I thought he was going to lose some time right there, but gathered it up and made a good effort at it. Fourth.
Good track position for the start of the race. Then Paul Wolf can work his strategy magic, and Brad can go about doing that critical thing, staying on the track and keeping that track position.
That can be tough sometimes here.
Yeah, it can be. In position to have a shot at the win last Sunday at Pocono. Inside of row number 2 for that what turned out to be last restart, and got swept up racing Greg Biffle for position and in trying to avoid Jimmy Johnson and Matt Kenseth, and did not get a shot at that win when Jeff Gordon slipped by them all. Two to go. Ryan Newman and then Kurt Busch.
One of those drivers sitting outside the top 10 in points, but does have a victory to his credit.
Tied in points with Jeff Gordon after the Pocono race. Gordon getting the nod for the wild card at the moment on the tiebreaker, which they had to go all the way back to most 5th place finishes for. If you're not familiar with the system, most wins, if that's the same, most seconds, if that's the same, most thirds. They went back to 5ths to break the tie between Gordon and Newman.
That might be what has to happen with about 5 weeks in Richmond. We'll finish that race.
Oh, we can hope so, huh? It's what we got last November at Homestead.
That's right.
To settle the championship between Tony Stewart and Carl Edwards. Finished tied on points. Went to the guy with the most wins who got the tiebreaker.
You know, I think all of this is setting up for tomorrow. This is always an exciting race. In the past few years, we've seen even more pushing and shoving, a lot more like a short track on this road course. And I'm not sure that that's not going to be ramped up a little bit even more tomorrow as these drivers try to fight their way in and be one of those 12 drivers in part of the chase.
I agree. Especially we get that late caution. You get here a lot. That restart will be wild. Good lap for Newman. 6th fastest for Ryan. Good track position for the start of the race, and now 1 car left to go. We were talking earlier this week, getting prepared for this race and gathering our thoughts together. I said to our team that I thought this race, besides Talladega in October, this race was Kurt Busch's best chance to win a race for the rest of the year. Remember out in Sonoma, led a lot of that race, wound up sliding back to 3rd, and then found out later they had a broken suspension part on the car even. Kurt is a good road racer.
Yeah, he's one of those that came into this sport that even though he hadn't done road racing, he just adapted to it. And there are certain drivers like that. And he gave Clint Boyer there on one of those last restarts all he could handle for a lot of the time. Looked like he might take that victory, but I think they figure, Andy, this is a great shot for them. They came in here with a lot of confidence.
Absolutely, they do that. But, you know, this team feels like they can win every week. With Kurt Busch behind the wheel, they got good race cars. They get good engines from Hendrick. They feel like they can win everywhere, but this is definitely an opportunity week for them. But they feel like they got as good a chance as, or better than most that they've had.
Using all that new pavement there from the widened out runoff area.
Yeah, I don't think he meant to go that far wide in that corner, though.
Kurt talked about, it's a qualifying lap. You can't toss away a car on a qualifying lap. But again, it's about gaining track position for the start of the race. Right now, this lap is not going so well.
It looked like he got off to a bad start as he was coming to the green. It didn't look like he got through turn 7 nearly as well as he needed to, and kind of gone downhill from there.
Yeah, I could see him on the beginning part before he even took the green. He was trying to get the tires warmed up. It's like he was really concerned about the tire temperatures and the tires coming in early enough, and then they really didn't. I see why he was doing that now, because the car really never did hook up from the beginning of that lap.
So Kurt Busch is not going to have the track position he was hoping for at the start of this race. He will come in 27th in this qualifying session. And there he is on the right, your pole sitter. We heard from him earlier. Juan Pablo Montoya is going to lead this field to the green flag for Sunday's race here at Watkins Glen. Remember, he was the winner of this race just a couple of years ago. Quick look at the starting lineup for the 90-lap go here tomorrow.
Well, a lot of good road racers up here. This is going to be fun and exciting. Ambrose there with a good starting spot.
Nice job from Michael McDowell, row 6.
Let's see Earnhardt Jr. coming from 16th.